Many years coming. When I started LifeWave, I started out of a small office in Georgia. This was in 2002. And I took my son's bedroom and I converted it over to the first LifeWave office. He's never forgiven me for that. But since he works for the company in our research department, he's kind of happy with how things turned out, so it's all okay. But from those very humble beginnings, then in 2004, we officially became a network marketing company, did phenomenally well our first year in business, and then off we went. And today we have about 200,000 square feet of space globally. We have 3 offices in the United States. San Diego, this is the corporate office here, and then our research is in Florida, in the Orlando area. We have a big manufacturing facility in Ireland that we're expanding, and we have offices all through Asia, Mexico, and we keep expanding. And it's because of all of you, because of our brand partners. This is an incredible industry because of the relationships that the company gets to have with its independent brand partners. And you're all the reason why LifeWave is #1, why we became #1 in the industry. So thank you for all of your hard work and your dedication. And I'm glad that we have a little bit of time now to talk about what's going to be happening in the coming year and where we're going into the future. Speaking of the future, how many of you were at the conference in October? You have a nice time?
Yes.
Awesome.
It was amazing, right?
Yes.
Very amazing.
Yeah. Well, we have another one in October in Anaheim, and we're doing our best to top the one that you just went to.
That was amazing.
Thank you. We're doing our best. But of course, we unveiled the new water machine technology. Now, this has been in development for many, many years. I've been studying water for decades, but we did a really intense effort over the last 6 years to come out with this technology. But the ultimate goal, what we're seeing in our clinical studies, we've got 4 clinical studies done on this technology now, another 3 that are going to be done this year, and probably others. We're looking into the basic mechanisms of how human beings age, and then looking at how can we alter gene expression in a natural way to stop and reverse human aging. That's the goal, and that's the platform that LifeWave sits on today that allows us to create new products based on this technology in the coming years. So one of the things that Meredith and I are incredibly excited about is that the water machine is just the first product that's based off of this technology. So if you were to ask me a question and you were to say, well, you know, what other kind of products might you have? I probably wouldn't answer because you want it to be a secret, right? But imagine for a moment, and I'll do this for Janine because she's coming from the skincare industry. Imagine, you know, there's a tremendous amount of competition in skincare. So the day that we see coming is that where we have a skincare product, but instead of just the usual things of claims of reducing lines and wrinkles, improving hydration, imagine you had a technology that could actually turn older skin into younger, healthier skin.
Wow.
That would be quite a product. And so those are the type of things that we're developing in our lab. And it's not science fiction anymore. There's mechanisms that we've tapped into to allow this, to make this possible.
Awesome.
So those are some of the things you're going to see from LifeWave in the coming years. It's another reason why we've rebranded from being a patch company over to a technology company. We have multiple technologies that are going to set us apart dramatically from every other company in the industry. We already have, but it's only going to continue to grow in the coming years. So we have our drone technology. So For those of you that went on the welcome tour, you saw a small model of our drone. That drone has a 15-foot wingspan. We have a development center in Europe for this technology. We also have a development center, of course, in Florida. I purchased a 60-acre property where we created a 7,000 square foot hangar and a runway just so we could do tests with these drones. And then the ultimate goal is that we want to be able to do search and rescue with this, delivery of medical goods and supplies, so that in the coming years, when we'd have a disaster like we just had in LA, our drones could be flying in with our patches to help people with pain relief, to provide search and rescue efforts to locate people that are in danger, and also to provide information for ground teams. So they serve like this multi-platform role. And we're really excited about the direction that that's going in. Another thing that we've done as a technology company is I started this venture with the drone 4 years ago, and we ended up developing an entirely new way to generate clean power. And the first application are in our drones. But ultimately where this is going is we've created a new method of generating green power to power your home and recharge your electric vehicles. And our demonstrator unit, Meredith has seen it. She's sworn to secrecy. But we can produce about 20,000 watts of electricity with this unit. And that's way more than a home needs, an average home needs. So what that means is in the future, let's say 5 years out, you're creating your business today, but we'll have a sister company for power generation. And that company is the same genealogy that we have in LifeWave, since they're a sister company. And so when someone in your organization years from now uses this power generation in their home, you'll be earning money off of that, because it's a connected opportunity. Awesome. So just by having this technology, people will be able to eliminate their electric bill, charge their electric vehicles, have energy independence. This is a new form of solar power, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And just by the unit sitting there, you'll make money by selling electricity back to the grid. So, not bad, right?
No, excellent.
So the type of things that we think about today are, how can we create a business with sustainable technology so that decades from now, the brand partners that are in LifeWave still have a business. Stacy Holweger, I'll use her as a good example, phenomenal leader. Her son joined LifeWave and became an SPD. And so I was at 19 years old.
Yeah.
And incredible achievement. And so I had a conversation with him, and he was, like many people I suppose his age, worried about what the future and what's coming. And we have a phenomenal opportunity to create a network marketing company that has never existed before. One that's a generational business, where we're creating sustainable technology that's great for the planet, great for everyone. And some of you at some point may want to retire and pass your business along to your kids, and wouldn't it be great to know that our opportunity is going to be just as viable 10, 20, 30 years from now as it is today. Yes. So we're creating, these are just some of the examples of the tech that already exists that we'll be deploying in the coming years. But we really are thinking about how can we transform the industry and do some things to build up the industry in a very, very positive way. This is probably also a good time to be thinking about where is our industry at today. And it's incredibly interesting in the sense that since the pandemic now, about 60% of the businesses have been losing money, and they've decided to go into alternative methods of distribution outside of network marketing and direct sales. And that's really sad and unfortunate, because from my perspective, we're about to see the biggest boom in our industry that has ever been. Put this in perspective. We've been doing this hologram tech just as a trial. We're in beta testing with it. But imagine for a moment, you can come into our office here in Draper, and right next door is our beaming system. And let's say that you want to build your team in South Korea, in Tokyo, in Taiwan. You could walk into that room and do a meeting in Taiwan today, just by beaming in through this unit. And you're going to appear, and because of the camera and the microphone on that unit, you can see everybody in the audience and you can interact with them in real time. But it gives the appearance that you're actually there. Yesterday, I was in Denmark, and on Saturday night, I couldn't make it into Las Vegas to do Steve and Gina Merritt's meeting. Meredith and Wayne were there. I couldn't make it. So we put one of these on stage, and at 10 o'clock at night from Denmark, I beamed into this unit live on stage, got to interact with them for 45 minutes, and then I beamed out. And I could easily have done that into Tokyo, South Korea, Mexico, wherever we have these units. Now, let's say that you want to have access to that technology. Another way that you could use it is we could record you in front of a camera. And you say, okay, I want to do my meeting in Taipei. Great, we record your presentation as a hologram. But then the AI software translates what you've said now into Mandarin. And I don't know if you saw the example in the Welcome Center, but it looks exactly like you're speaking that language.
Yes.
So we're just in the early days of this, but the goal is to improve the way we communicate, improve the speed of communication, and make it easier and faster for you to build a business globally. Another technology that's along the same lines that we're developing now, and we're doing a beta test with 5 leaders, and I'll use Steve Merritt just as an example. So we filmed Steve, and of course Steve and Gina have a phenomenal system for building the business. They're the #1 team in the world. And what you'll be able to do is go to a website, and Steve will be there as a avatar, as a virtual image of himself, and you can interact with him and say, how many patches should I introduce to a prospect the first time I meet with them? And the AI software is programmed with all the information. There's a database of his system, and he gets to answer those questions 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, in whatever language we have it programmed with.
Wow.
So this is just the early days, but you'll be able to get access to this so that you'll be able to build your business 24 hours a day, and it's just exactly like you're there working with somebody, answering questions for them, and then they can sign up and get integrated into our system. This is why the direct sales industry is going to experience so much growth, because these new tools make it faster and easier for people to build a home business than ever before, anywhere in the world. So we're crazy excited about this. Plus, of course, how we're going to use our technology to create products that are totally exclusive that no one else has. So I think I'd like to get some questions. Let me know what's on your mind, what you want to talk about. Let's make this a little interactive.
Do you have an idea of, thank you for having us, this is such a beautiful place.
Oh, thank you for being here.
Such an experience. Do you have a price range for the water filtration system?
So, the answer is no, because it's not a water filtration system.
That's right.
So we don't want to lead with that, but that's okay. I'm being a little nitpicky. No, so, but you're absolutely correct. So to go back over this, there is a 2-liter reservoir in the system, and it goes through 2 separate stages of filtration. So that's a feature of the system. And it took us 8-9 months to come up with the correct primary filter. We wanted the best filter that you could get, so this eliminates pesticides, heavy metals, the forever chemicals, microplastics. It takes all of that out of the water. And then it goes through a second separate stage, which hydrogenates the water. So by the time the water gets into the main processor, it's had hydrogen and oxygen added into the water. And then it goes through our special light processing and then out. So we're in a ballpark of the price. It'll be about $5,000 US, right around in there. It looks like we're going to have financing for that to make it affordable to everyone. We're putting those final details in place, and of course we have a supplement line that's designed specifically to go with the water machine. So we'll have more and more details on this in the coming months.
Is that what I should just call it, the water machine?
No,
it's
X2O.
X2O.
no. Oh, you saw that?
Yes, we did.
Yes.
Okay,
We love
cat's
that.
out of the bag, huh?
Light infused water?
Yeah.
Can I say light infused water? Hydrogen water?
Light infused water. Yeah.
Just
I love that.
Yeah.
look, he's like,
I love that. I mean, we just swallow it.
yes.
H2.
Yeah,
X2.
you know, for years. So I invented something I used to refer to as the lobster coil. And the initial version of this, I used to call it lobster water.
Well, that's what I was telling
Is that-
everybody. I get a lot of
Yes.
people's attention
Yeah.
when I say that.
Yes, and yeah, because that's what it was invented based around. And Meredith said to me, "Well, you know, is it too late to change the name?" I said, "No, we don't have to go to market with the name Lobster Water. We'll find out something else." And someone very talented on our staff came up with the name X2O. So
I love that.
we're happy
I
about
just
that.
love that.
Yes.
Yes, Mary and I, we were talking about we can wait to get the water product. And she just said to me, this is gonna take us to the next level. Yes, Mary.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's. I wish you all could have been at the meeting that we had the week of the conference, because we had our top-ranking SPDs that came in for a meeting where they got the inside story on the water machine just before the conference, and we had 10 machines set up. So everyone got a chance to get a sample, and because it works so quickly, we had a camera crew there, and we were taking testimonials literally minutes after people drank the water, and that was phenomenal.
We're working very hard to get the SPD.
Yes.
Absolutely.
We're number 2
Absolutely.
away, so we're getting there.
I have a question.
Yes.
Everything's going up every year, and LifeWave seems to keep the prices still low. I don't know how you can afford to do that. They're extremely low to my view. Is there going to be a price increase with everything that's going around us, or what's going to be the future of this amazing technology?
We've had reviews on that, and we review our pricing, our margins, like any business. I would say one good thing is that we own the manufacturing. So we're actually investing in a larger facility. So for those people that were at our October conference, Coleman Dillon, who's our Chief Operating Officer, made a presentation on our plan to expand the factory. So we're adding on a brand new 70,000 square foot facility to expand on the resources we have today. Today we can make enough patches to support a business doing about $2 billion US per year, and by 2026 that'll go up to $3 billion US per year. So we make the patches in enormous volume, and then we get price breaks from our suppliers. So at some point, yeah, you know, depending on inflation's been terrible since the pandemic. That's a whole separate subject, right? But so will we increase the price on the product? At some point we'll have to. But nobody knows when that's going to be.
You manufacture in the U.S. as well, or will
We
be affected by
manufacture in both the United States and in Ireland.
So we'll be affected by the tariffs or anything like that?
Well, that's a good question, because with the patches, I think we're going to be fine relative to tariffs, but it's an unknown at the moment. With respect to the water machine, we get parts for that globally. We're trying to make as much as we can within the United States, and we don't know if any of that's going to be impacted by tariffs. It's a little bit early to say. We hope it's okay. Yeah, we'll see. Yes.
At some point in the future, you know, Amazon has been, one of the things that they've done really well is that they own distribution, so they are brilliant at getting things out immediately. So I'm curious, because we have this drone technology that you so efficiently have created that benefits us in so many different ways, is there a future where we're going to have the, you know, Amazon patching equivalent where the drones deliver the patches to our brand partners instead of going through FedEx and USPS?
That was my dream 4 years ago when we were creating this technology. I don't know if that would ever happen, but one of the things that I would love to be able to pull off is to license some of our drone tech to Amazon, and in exchange allow us to put our patches in all of their warehouses. So exactly for that purpose, you order and you can get the patches within an hour.
Wow.
I would love that. Yeah, that's kind of like the dream at this point. Whether or not we get there, you know, who knows. I was at a conference 3 years ago on drones, and at that time the FAA was saying, well, in 18 months you'll see drones being used commercially for delivery, and that hasn't happened. Washington has been very slow, and I think in some cases for good reasons. The drone highways have to be very well monitored. Otherwise, there could be accidents amongst other things.
Same thing like air traffic controllers, but for drone, that level.
So
it has to. That's a whole other infrastructure that needs to still be.
That system's been developed. But there's some ancillary, I would say, considerations and concerns. I might put it that way. Yeah. But for sure, we're going to see drone deliveries in our future. So that was another reason to develop the tech, that we could have valuable IP in drones and then use that ultimately to improve the speed of our distribution. So we'll see.
Okay, so totally entirely different question having to do more with the actual patch usage. Every now and then you have, you know, a lot of people are great at following instructions, and then there are those who don't. And though they don't pay attention to the 12 hours on and off, and they go 24, 48 hours. So my question is around attenuation. If someone has worn the patches for, let's say, 24, 48, 72 hours, how long before attenuation goes away and the body is able to restore itself where the patches then would be effective again?
Yeah, we haven't done any studies on that. So if I were to give you an educated guess, I'd say 24 hours as a washout period should be fine. So they use the patch 24, 48 hours, don't wear it again for a day, and then restart. Should be fine.
Yeah, that's what happened to me when I first joined.
Yeah.
Lorenzo put an Eon on my back, on my neck, and I was discerning if this is where I wanted to go in the future. And my kids were the ones that said, I don't know what you have on your neck, Mom, but don't get rid of it because we've never seen you so calm and not stressed. Okay. So I wore it till Tuesday.
Okay.
So I had it from Saturday to Tuesday.
Okay.
But that was because I was waiting to get my patches. So.
Yeah, I mean, in those kind of cases, the thing that I would be concerned about is irritation. So the patch is designed to trap heat, and so people can get a heat rash if you leave it on too long. Right. So that would be the main thing. So then actually also wait the 24 hours, but then when reapplying, apply to a different part of the body so the skin doesn't become irritated.
I had a week after that.
Okay, so you're totally fine.
Yeah, I was totally fine. That's what I was trying to say, that I had days after.
Yes.
Okay, at the convention in 2023, I remember you talking about working on a communication network that would work on frequencies beneficial to humanity instead of harmful.
Yes.
Like this. Is that still in the works in the future?
I would say yes, but we would do the power generation company first.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. So so what goes hand in hand with this is we do the power generation tech, you put it in a drone, you develop that market, you develop the revenue, then you have the money to do the power generation, then you have the money to do the communications. And so there is an area of space of between, let's say, 50 and 70,000 feet, right around in there, where you have high altitude aircraft. So the analysis that we've done is that today, if you want to put a satellite in orbit, very expensive, $500,000 to $1 million a piece, but it's about today, in today's dollars, about $10 billion to start a satellite company. Wow. So it's a very expensive endeavor to get these things up there. And then they're $500,000 to $1 million a piece. So we can build drones that are less expensive, that operate, obviously not up in space, but in that altitude that's like designated for that aircraft, like and it'll be a cell phone tower.
Wow.
So we have, but I wouldn't want to use 5G.
No, exactly.
For obvious reasons.
Yeah.
And we've done an experiment now that's been successful. So we're going up to the next level with it. And this would be able to, the signal would be able to go out a few hundred miles. With 5G, you'd have to have a tower every 100 miles or so, something like that. So I think this is going to be a viable alternative, but it's many, many years into the future.
Yeah. But amazing.
And it wouldn't have the blue light screen technology. It would be devoid of the blue light screen.
No, what we're talking about is we would have our own cell phone network, which would be proprietary, non-invasive, that kind of thing. Yeah. But it's a concept way into the future. The power generation is much closer. I would say that.
Awesome.
Yes.
So one question. I know that the core of the business right now is the X39.
Yes.
So is there plans in the future to eliminate some of the other patches?
You get to decide.
No.
So that's something our brand partners and customers decide. So if we'll continue making the products as long as people will buy them, and we'll let the market determine if we're going to discontinue something or not. There's a lot of questions around the water machine and then some of the other things that come off of that, but we still have to wait and see what the implications are of the tech. Technology is always evolving. The energy patches are still here after 20 years. Will they be here 20 years from now? I don't know. We'll see how the business evolves, but we're going to continue to invent and develop and see where it goes.
So let me piggyback off of that then. You had mentioned about the Nirvana. Is that something that's still in the works to come back?
I literally had that conversation with Meredith yesterday. I would say I'm probably not going to say anything right this second, but we have had the conversation. We've had the conversation about bringing Nirvana back. We have to structure a clinical study and decide what the claims around that product will be. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
Thank you.
I've read about that product.
Yeah, I've heard that many times.
I still have some sleeves.
In July, they're going to share with us the summer like no other summer.
Well, I was referring to August.
Oh, August.
And that's a tightly kept secret.
Okay.
But what I will say is that by the end of this month, on social media, you'll get a huge hint. I'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
But we have an elite SPD trip that's happening in June. That's going to be a trip to Switzerland. And then we have a surprise elite SPD trip that's happening in August. I think it'll just be for the elites, but we haven't firmed everything up. That's highly classified. But it is, I will tell you that no network marketing company has ever done this, ever. It's crazy exciting. So we're keeping that a secret. And we have an incredible October event that's coming up. and some other really cool things along the way. We also have, what we don't have a date on yet, is the red carpet event for the documentary. That'll happen this year, just don't know what month or when.
Now in October with the convention, with all the fires, do you see that might have to move it? Or are we good? Because we have to get ready
Anaheim
to...
hasn't been affected,
Okay.
so I'm sure we're gonna be okay. We have had some discussions about it, but at the moment, the Anaheim area is fine, so I don't think we're going to be
We are
moving.
so proud for LifeWave, what you, President, or CEO, to donate all this product to the Magnificent in California.
I'll take the opportunity to say we've made a donation of $100,000 to the Red Cross, $50,000, that's for medical supplies, $50,000 to Convoy of Hope, that's for food and water for kids, and we've donated patches to a number of people in the area that are going out and patching people. We're establishing a fund to help those brand partners that lost their homes. I'm not sure how that's going to work yet, but that's something that we're doing. And we're also, for people that were affected by the fires, we'll see that they'll receive commissions, and we'll qualify them for a period of time to give them a chance to recover.
Nice.
Nice.
Very nice.
I have another question specifically about that, because I actually have four people in my business whose houses in the Palisades are like there, and Altadena, they're gone. So one of them, one of my gals, Bev, who happens to be a personal friend of mine too, she's like, all my patches, everything is gone. So I'm like, Bev, I'm gonna take care of you. I'm gonna go ahead and I will ship you so that you have your patch, because she only had what she was able to run out with.
Sure.
You know, lost everything. So my question is, first of all, a lot of the people don't have a forwarding address for their next shipment.
Right.
They need their patches, but they don't have anywhere to ship it. And so, is there anything in the VIP line that is a support adjunct to help for this unique situation? Because so many people are in that predicament where some people do have a place to go. They're just staying either with friends or at an Airbnb, but it's a very provisional, and nobody really has any idea how long it'll be before they actually have a formal shipping address. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Some of them lost both home and business.
I have to discuss this with Meredith. I mean, at the moment, we, of course, have our order fulfillment center in San Diego.
Yeah.
We're not quite set up, we're not set up today where people could come in and pick up product for order. Maybe that's something that we could implement, but I'll discuss it with Meredith and staff, and we'll see.
Or maybe distribution just through the existing presidential, senior presidential directors and presidential and executive directors, because they're already, situated throughout the world in the country. So when a natural disaster happened, right now California, it's basically the fires, and we've got earthquakes which never stop, of course, but we've got tornadoes, hurricanes, and other
Sure.
disasters that happen all the time. So we're already in place. So I'm just kind of curious about having this conversation because it's so in the present moment.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of having the systems in place. It's also, when you ship somebody something, then you have to validate that they actually received it. How do we do that if we're not shipping it to them directly? So there's all those details to work through. We want to help out.
Yeah. Is there a way of anyone, for example, like the Altadena zip code, that needs to be red flag, so to speak, or alerted, and Pacific Palisades, and I have people in Malibu, everything is gone, so there needs to be something. FedEx can't deliver because they can't even drive through there.
Sure.
So it's like, what are you recommending? Because some of it we have to be proactive and help our people, because they have too much to think about right now.
Yeah.
So,
what we've done so far is we haven't thought about how to handle that issue because the immediate aid has been front and center. So when we've been receiving emails, this brand partner, we have a woman, Emily Sato, who's been with us for.
she's in my team.
Emily is fantastic. She's been with us for many, many years. Lost her home. So the thinking is, okay, what can we do to support people like Emily that have been with us a long time, and to show us that, hey, we're there for you. So are we going to cover? I reached out to Emily and we're like, hey, let us cover a hotel for you, an Airbnb. She's like, no, I want to stay with family. But these are the type of things that we're trying to think about. But the issue that you're bringing up is an important issue. How we're going to deal with that, I don't know yet.
Yeah, and it's just a matter of dedicating, just like everything else that we do, is dedicating some focus and attention. Once you put some deliberate focus and attention on it, then then things start to become more clear. And
sure.
It's not that complicated, it's just dedicating the time.
Yeah.
And this is not the only natural disaster that's going to, it's part of life.
No, we get them a lot in Florida where we are. And
get them worse than us.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, maybe one more question. Yes.
As the man of God and the pastor that I am, David, I thank you for listening to God, how He downloads information to you. I know how He does it because we talk to the Lord. I'm really interested on the codes. And okay. I know you talked a lot about the codes at convention and so forth. Have you written or done any Zooms that talk about specifically about Bible codes?
Well, of course I did at the conference in October, and I'm sure during the year on LifeWave Connect, I'll be doing that more. Right now, what we'll be doing at Vision is going into more detail on the clinical studies and the results and benefits that people can expect. But I'm sure during the year, as long as the interest is there, I'll talk more about the Bible codes. There was one specific thing that I mentioned at conference around the Tree of Life code that I didn't have time to get into, and I am covering that at Vision. I'll do that, not in a huge amount of detail, but enough to get people started on it. But it's a fascinating subject, and we're only just scratching the surface with it.
Can you recommend a book about Bible codes for someone who's interested in that?
No, actually, what I would recommend is you go get an online calculator, and what you do is you first convert the English. Let's say I use King James Version, so convert the English over to the original Hebrew, and then get a calculator to convert the Hebrew over into the numerical values. And that's something that you can do yourself. And then also in my presentation in October, I recommended a website in Australia called The Living Word, and they have a lot of detail on Bible codes. So that would be one to go to, The Living Word.
Are you familiar with Robert Edward Grant's?
And I gotta go. So I'm gonna have to tell you. But thank you all for your